Hey folks, this is Matt Rainwater, and today we're gonna do more of a basic kind of talk and draw. I'm gonna talk and draw. Do a little less of the tutorial style videos, which have been really fun for me, but I don't always have. I don't know. Like for me, it's like, oh well, I'll do. I'll talk about my process, and then that's what I got. I can definitely tell y'all right now about what this illustration is, what I'm about to do, what y'all gonna see me work on. Yesterday I was drawing this image. It's gonna be a promotional banner for season 5 of Trailer Park Warlock. So I'm starting to get into that zone where I how do I want to put this? I'm starting to get into the zone where I'm thinking about releasing the new season, right? What's going to be the last season for Trailer Park Warlock. And so every time I release the season, my editor asks me to make a promotional image to go with it, and it's fun, Like kind of, I try and embrace the promotional image thing as like, hey, here's an image that I can do just for the heck of it, just like there's not like an attachment to it being, you know, I don't always attach it necessarily being story centric. So like this image with Jake, casting a spell using a screwdriver for a wand. It was just an idea that popped in my head, and I thought it would be a great way of advertising the story because it gives you kind of an idea of what to expect, right? It says nothing other than just sort of what you could expect from the story. That's kind of humorous. There's a lot of action adventure stuff, and there's Jake, right? And there's sort of oddball. There's an oddball kind of humor to it. So I've I've learned over time, and it's taken me a while to figure this out because I've tried all sorts of different ideas for these promotional images that show up on the banner page with Webtoon. Like I've tried having story centric banners. I've tried having sort of just like gags and jokes. And I don't know if I could necessarily say that I've seen, one work better than the other. So I kind of came to this point where, well, I should just do what I find is the most fun, right? Um, as an aside, there was a moment in time where I was able to talk one of my editors into the idea of like, well, what if I could do one of these banner images for every week? I did that for like a short little while. It was not very long. This was like at the very very beginning of Trailer Park Warlock being published, and I think at that time that banner space on the Webtoon app was not as precious as it's become now, and there's several reasons why that might have, why that's the case nowadays. One of the main reasons is since since I started publishing Trailer Park Warlock with Webtoon, they've picked up way more titles, right? And on top of that, like they actually, there are a lot of titles that they put on the banner page. I don't know what else to call it. I guess that's just what it is, the banner page. That are also like canvas titles, which I like that they do that, right? It's a little, like a lot of things with Webtoon, it's a little mysterious as to like what their rubric is for what titles they pick, why they pick those titles. I can definitely say that there is a certain aspect to it is connected to numerics, like how many subscribers does this title have, how involved is their audience. I think is another numeric that they look at as being kind of important to them. Um, and then does the title? I'm totally shooting in the dark here, but this is my guess as to like based on what they pick, what titles they pick to go up on the banner page that aren't originals. So like another the aside within the aside Um, Pretty much every original title, uh, you get a guaranteed slot on the banner page at the release of your season. So uh, it is a pretty big benefit to have, I'll say, because like every season when that happens for me, I always pick up, a decent amount of viewers, and it kind of depends on the season. Like season 2, I lost a lot of subscribers, like a ton of subscribers, and that was mainly because I changed the story in the way that it was working. Because everybody kind of came into Trailer Park Warlock, or a lot of people came into Trailer Park Warlock with the expectation that it was going to remain like this episodic joke a week kind of thing, and then season 2 totally changed it up. And a lot of people were just that wasn't what they were coming into for Trailer Park Warlock, or not what they wanted, and well, they missed out, I think. But the point is season 2 was a hard one. Season 2 was kind of a trial by fire for me, and I learned, to kind of have different expectations from season to season. Because then season 3, that was when I started the Tarot arc. That was a big season where I gained a lot of people, and I wasn't really sure how that was going to work. I knew that the fact that it was going to be a little more jokier, not as serious and dramatic in the same way that season 2 was, that there would be more people who would hang on and stay aboard because um it I think season 3 sort of stayed within the realm of what people more of what people expected with Trailer Park Warlock, which was sticking with the humorous stuff. Working on season 5, I would say that season 5 has a little bit more in common with season 2. There's definitely humor, but there are also a fair amount of dramatic moments, a lot of some tear-jerking moments. I know I talked about that in the recent video. It's I'm thinking about it in sort of a cinematic mindset, right? Which was the same way I thought about season 2. Season 2 was one where I was thinking about it in regards to, I kind of want, like, if I imagine Trailer Park Warlock as a movie, this is what it would kind of look like. And I definitely think that something that might have hurt me with season 2 was that it also got kind of confusing, right? For a lot of people, it got too confusing, too weird, too cerebral for a lot of people to stick with it. And that's fine. I mean, and hopefully some of those people came back, for later seasons and figured out that I knew what I was doing. Which in reality, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was able to make an appropriate landing out of a situation that seemed like you couldn't possibly get it to fit together. So I'm going to take a moment here. I liked the general look of Jake's arm, but there's something that I'm kind of going like, okay, this might not fully connect. So what I've decided to do is under a different layer, I'm kind of doing like a guideline, and I'm going to make a slight adjustment here in the line art, because I think it kind of looked like his arm was broken. So, speaking of line art, usually what I use for my line art is a smoother line. See if I can find that. So we'll just compare, right? So this line right here. This is textured pen. This is a frequent favorite. But the one that I use generally when inking Trailer Park Warlock is Variable Valerie. So as you can see, pretty different, right? They're both pretty different lines. I will usually I'll use textured pen for if I'm trying to I don't know, I don't really use it that much in Trailer Park Warlock right now. I used it entirely when I drew Bat Monster. I used it for early seasons of Trailer Park War. I used it for season 2 of Trailer Park Warlock, and I think sometime around the end of season 2, I switched over to Variable Valerie, the smoother one. Um, I'm using it for this image because I want it to look a little rougher, a little looser, just to amp up, like, the energetic. This is a very energetic image, right? There's a lot of stuff going on, and I want the lines to kind of accentuate that. We'll see how much that comes off in the final image, because this is something you got to think about, right? When you're making any kind of image for a smartphone. Uh, it doesn't all get read on the smartphone, obviously. A lot of it gets read on, people read on their desktop, people read on their iPad, but I would guess, I don't really know this, once again going back into speculation mode here, but I would guess that the majority of people who are going to see this image, who read Trailer Park Warlock, do so on their smartphone. And this is all preface to get into what I'm trying to say here, which is that something you need to know about working with reproducible images that you are going to put, where they finish off. I'm having a hard time trying to explain what I'm trying to say. Where they finish off, I'm going to start over from the beginning, y'all. I really want y'all to understand what I'm about to say. The thing about making reproducible images, right, where you start off big, but the final image that everybody's going to see is going to be smaller than the original art size, a lot of details are going to get lost. A lot of details are going to get lost. And then, think about it. Like, this is, I'm working on my, like, laptop screen, so this is probably, Clip Studio doesn't really let me know exactly the inch size, but in terms of pixel size, this is 3206 by 2138. This was the formatted prescribed size given to me by Webtoon. The size of this image when it's going to appear on Webtoon on a smartphone is going to be probably a third at the least, if not a quarter of this size. So it's going to get reduced a lot. So I don't even know if, like, all this all this texture, right, that's appearing on through this line work that I'm doing, I don't know. It might just all get smoothed out once it's reduced. So, like, for example, right? Look, let me get my smartphone real quick so I can. It's gonna be about that size, right? That's gonna be the size at which you view it. And so this is a little handy dandy trick, right? Y'all just saw me do. Get your smartphone out, and then you just put it in front of your screen, and you just size. You size it on your Clip Studio or Photoshop screen till you get to where it's about appropriate, and that'll give you an idea of what your finished work is going to look like when it gets published. If you happen to find yourself in a position where you're doing a banner or whatever, like you might be doing an image that you want to put on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. It's good to know. It's good to know beforehand, right, what your finished thing is going to look like. And this doubly applies to print comics. So if, for instance, you're interested in doing something in print, it's a good idea to do some sizing, some estimation for yourself while you're working on your title or while you're working on your image, whatever it is that you're making. So you don't have any surprises when the actual thing gets printed. This happens a lot. This happens a whole heck of a lot. Excuse me, I needed a take a drink there. And you'd be surprised how much it happens for how many different things. Having personally worked in print a fair amount of times, you never have full control with how your final piece turns out. So you learn how to look for things to take precautions on. Color is a so I worked as a colorist for a while when I colored a lot of the Plants vs Zombies comics that Dark Horse put out years ago. And they're still putting out books, but under a different colorist. But when I was doing the coloring work, I learned very quickly that green is kind of a squirrely color. And I don't know why this is. People have explained it to me, and it kind of went in one ear and out the other. It just green's a hard color to reproduce in on the printer. And so I don't really know if I learned a lesson from that because it worked out fine for the most part. I found out the one place where it did not work out well, surprisingly, was in a French printing of Plants vs Zombies. I only have one copy of it. It's a French copy of the time travel one. I can't remember what it's called. Time Apocalypse. Yeah, Plants vs Zombies Time Apocalypse. So what I learned was that in the French edition of it, the French really like to read their books tabloid size, especially for kids' books. And tabloid size is about is at least a third, if not, it's almost twice as big as American trade paperback size. So I don't know. Think about if you have any trade paperback comics in your house. Think about that book and then blow it up by 2x, right? And so what happened was that a lot of the colors that I did for that book, they look great in the original Dark Horse prints because I colored them at the size that Dark Horse was expecting, right? Like the pre-production or not the pre-production, or maybe it is the pre-production. The production people. The people who deal with all the printer stuff. They were well prepared for all that stuff. Everything had been kind of figured out, right, between me and production staff. So there weren't any surprises, but the surprise that did happen was that Plants vs. Zombies became popular enough that, there was a French imprint or a French company that wanted to print books. And so what happened was in these tabloid size books, the colors just they kind of got muddied because they were blown up. And you can kind of tell with the line art too. The line art gets a little bit pixelated and a little bit muddy. It's not like with the line art, it's not bad, but with the colors, there are certain panels where it's really obvious, especially if you compare between the two versions, that my intentions for the colors really get lost when they get blown up, and it looks kind of. I didn't really like how it turned out, which is unfortunate because I really like that blown up size. I really like that tabloid size. It's pretty cool. Like I would love to do Trailer Park Warlock in a tabloid size. However, like I just described to y'all, there is the possibility that if I did that, it might not look very good. Like the colors might look weird and off, and the line art might look kind of funky. I'm already kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to gird myself to understand that if I ever print Trailer Park Warlock, that the first couple hundred pages are gonna look a little funky. Anyway, because I was still learning a lot as an artist, and I still am now. So I feel like I had one more thing I wanted to talk with y'all about before I let y'all go. I really thought like, oh, I'll I'll totally be able to use up the entire time that I'm inking on this video, but it turns out maybe not. I don't know if I have any more knowledge I need to divulge to y'all today. It's been fun hanging out, and I'm gonna do another video after I'm done inking this episode, or yeah, this episode, this page, this image, whatever. I don't know. What is anything anymore? When I'm done inking this image, I'm going to color it, and so I'm going to do another video of me coloring it, and I'll talk with y'all again then. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, y'all, and we will talk again soon. Until then, y'all have a good one, all right? Bye.